Raise your hand if you're watching this on a Toshiba computer. Okay, not very many of you. That's not too surprising. The company sold 80% of its PC business to Sharp back in 2018, but last week Toshiba made it official by selling its remaining stake in laptops to Sharp, which should mark the end of its time in the computer business. Toshiba may not have been a big player in laptops in recent years, but it's still worth a look back at their history. I had all but forgotten, but they are one of the pioneers of portable computers, as well as a company that fully embraced the weird gadget ethos of the early 2000s. As such, some of its most noteworthy hardware was a bit ahead of its time. But looking at a few of Toshiba's most innovative devices shows a company that correctly predicted some big tech trends, even if it didn't always capitalize on them. Perhaps the most significant Toshiba device is its first laptop, the T1100, which went on sale all the way back in 1985. At the time, portable computers were exceedingly rare, and Toshiba described it as the world's first mass-market laptop computer. It was a 9-pound beige box that had specs comparable to the original IBM desktop PC, a 4.77 MHz Intel 80C88 CPU, 256 kilobytes of RAM, and a monochrome screen that could display 25 lines of text and had a 640 by 200 resolution. It didn't have a hard drive, but it did have a 3.5-inch floppy drive built right in. By 1985 standards, that's pretty impressive considering you could fold the entire thing up and take it with you. And according to a 1986 InfoWorld article, the 1100 successor, the 1100 Plus, had a battery rated for 7 hours. There are still plenty of laptops in 2020 that don't hit that mark. And the T1100's design set the standard for early laptops, until Apple shook things up with the first PowerBook in 1991. Toshiba's Satellite 5200 from 2003 had a lot more in common with modern laptops than the T1100, but it also feels very much like a product of its time. Back then, computer manufacturers were keen to copy the curving designs of Apple's original iMac. The 5200 had some style all of its own, but it feels firmly set in an era where hard edges were a no-no. But what's really unique about the 5200 is that Toshiba had the audacity to ship a model that had a built-in TV tuner and Microsoft's Media Center software. This basically meant you could hook up the laptop to a TV and record your favorite programs to watch later. As such, it also had media controls right up front and a DVD burner. The TV tuner could also be removed and you could pop in an extended battery instead. It's a good thing too, because a CNET review from 2003 notes that the standard battery only ran for about 2 hours. So while you could record some shows to watch on the plane, you wouldn't be able to watch very many before the computer died. Moving to more recent times, Toshiba's Libretto from 2010 is particularly relevant today. The Libretto was a limited-run dual touchscreen foldable device. Looking at it now reminds you of both Samsung's Galaxy Fold and Microsoft's just announced and long-awaited Surface Duo smartphone. Foldable devices that conceal a giant touchscreen have been getting a lot of attention lately, but Toshiba beat everybody to the concept by about a decade. However, that doesn't mean it was a product anyone would want to use, if we're being honest. Engadget's review from many moons ago cites terrible battery life, underpowered internals, bad software, and a cramped touchscreen keyboard that made it hard to get much done. Overall, it wasn't quite clear what Toshiba envisioned anyone would actually do with the Libretto. It was basically a concept computer that they charged $1,100 for. And while no recent foldable device has exactly perfected the formula just yet, it's still surprising to look back and see that Toshiba was onto something with the Libretto, even if it was definitely ahead of its time. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to Engadget for more videos and reviews.